What's up, everyone? Happy Wildcard Sunday. I'm the prep queen, Ariel Epstein. We are lock loaded, ready to go to get you guys winners for day 2 of Wildcard Weekend. Yesterday was crazy. I feel bad for Kelly's boyfriend, Brett, who is probably still feeling his sorrows from the Green Bay Packers loss last night. I cannot believe the Chicago Bears freaking won again. The Rams won. That as 10.5-point favorites. I mean, they should have won, but it was pretty close. The Panthers really held their own for a little while, despite all the mistakes. Hopefully Matthew Stafford's fingers are okay. Today's games, we've got 3 on the slate starting 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a line flip that happened for the 1 p.m. game. We've got a great game with a ton of steam on one side for the 4 p.m. hour on the East Coast, and then the 8 o'clock game. Still very confused as to how I feel about the Los Angeles Chargers. To help us be unconfused, Gianni the Greek joining us live from Las Vegas. Gianni, how was your Saturday?
Never better. 4-1 in the NFL, hit 4 of my 5 playoff releases, and the only loss was Green Bay. We were on the right side, had a great number as well on Green Bay. So, I'm not too upset. I don't like the way they lost that game, but it was a good day overall, and love starting the playoffs 4-1. I like today's games as well. And things are good. Up for 2026, up over the last 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. It's just been really good, Ariel. So just going to continue grinding.
Let's keep grinding through the Sunday slate. We'll start with the 1 p.m. game. Line flip. Jacksonville Jaguars. We're catching 1.5 at home all week. I see this morning the Jaguars now flipped to a -1.5 favorite. How do you feel about that flip?
Well, they should be the favorite. That's the situation here. Listen, on paper, power rated wise, I think bettors will be really surprised at just how strong Jacksonville is. They're now in my top 5. Wow. And Buffalo's also in the top 5.
Is that because of their defense being pretty good, or do you trust Trevor Lawrence?
I think Jacksonville is the most balanced team in the NFL playoffs right now. They are the most balanced on offense and defense. And here's what I mean. The Rams, number 1 offense, but 10th on defense. Chicago, 12th offense, 18 defense. Buffalo, 2nd on offense, 17 on defense. Even San Francisco, 17th offense, 14th defense. When I look at Jacksonville, I see 8th offensively, 9th defensively. So they're top 10 in both. I see it. They have a stronger strength of schedule than the Buffalo Bills. So, I mean, this team's being overlooked, but not by the wise guys. That's the key here. Buffalo's getting the money from the betting public. But we bet Jacksonville. We bet Jacksonville, in fact, in the first half at +0.5, and now they're -0.5. And we also took Jacksonville in the game. Where it sits right now, I'd probably look to tease the Buffalo side, being able to get them up through 7.5. You're going through 3, through 6, through 7. That looks like a solid bet.
Who would you tease with at this point?
Here's the problem. That's the key. When you don't have those opportunities, now you're no longer in the plus EV situation.
Right.
That's the problem. You're now trying to choose a winner. You're trying to pick the winner. And when you're teasing, that's not how you make money. You're simply teasing because you're able to go through those numbers, which give you the advantage. If you're not doing that, then the tease becomes a waste of your money. You're better off straight betting. That's the problem I'm having now. You're not going to tease it with the total because we know that's negative EV. We can't tease it with Philly game or the Chargers game or the Houston game because neither of those sides are going to give us a plus EV teaser. So the teaser is out of the window. That's gone. That's the problem. Buffalo would have made a good teaser bet, but unfortunately, there's no one else to tie it into. So where it sits with that game, again, the 1.1.5 shouldn't matter all that much. We know in the NFL, pick the winner, cash a ticket. And in the playoffs, it's even more so. In fact, I would say wild card round, divisional round, conference championship, over those 3 rounds, probably, don't quote me on this, but close to 85%, I think, if the winner covers. Like, it doesn't matter. The spread doesn't come into play. Like yesterday, we saw it come into play with the Rams game, but that's very rare. Usually the favorite wins in comfortable fashion, or the underdog wins outright. Very rarely does the point spread come into play when it comes to the NFL playoffs. Now, this one at 1.5, it shouldn't come into play. So you shouldn't really worry about the line move. It shouldn't scare you. The only thing it should do is confirm for you where the sharp bettors are on and where the recreational bettors are on. That doesn't mean it's giving you the right side, but you could conclude that. Again, it does. The public doesn't lose every bet. Wise guys don't win every bet. That's just the bottom line. But in this game, it's pretty obvious. If you're on Jacksonville, you're on the side of the sharps. If you're on Buffalo, you're on the side of the public. And it's playoff time. So, the public does.
What about the total in this game?
Under. That's all I'm seeing. They keep betting the under, and I don't understand it. They're even teasing it with the under. Like they're betting under straight. Then they're parlaying Buffalo with the under, and then they're teasing even Buffalo with the under. I don't know why. I mean, I look at Jacksonville. They've been putting up points easily. I mean, they put up 34 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games. And Buffalo on the flip side, they've put 30 plus points in 4 of their last 6 games. I see some offense here. So I don't know about that under that it looks like the bettors think it's automatic. Again, I haven't gotten to the window with the over or anything, but I would be a little bit cautious on that under just because of that. It's like it sticks out a lot in that game.
We've got the 4 p.m. Eastern time game, and that one's the 49ers and the Eagles, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And a lot of steam came in on the Eagles. This was -3 on Sunday when the games ended. Last Sunday, Eagles opened -3. They are now -5.5, Gianni. Obviously, if anyone wanted Eagles, you're going to tell them that they missed the boat. What would be a good approach today on that Niners and Eagles game?
Well, here's the thing. If you like the Eagles at, let's say, -4, if the 6 shouldn't scare you all that much. Again, you're no longer obviously getting out ahead of the market, but I don't think it should scare you all that much when it comes to the playoffs because we talked about it. Pick the winner, you're usually going to cash a ticket. Now, obviously, the books got to move their number because they're trying to attract money on the other side to help balance the risk. That's all they're doing. They're not telling you that the Eagles should be a much bigger favorite. It's just the market's forcing them into that because sharps came in right away on the Eagles. And I thought the market was going to move that way. Here, I'll spoil the ending for you. As soon as I saw that opener, like you said, I sent it out to my subscribers, but I sent it out on the money line because I thought when Sunday rolls around, this should be in the probability of 3 out of 4, meaning they should be about a -300 favor, where the home team in this spot wins the game 3 out of 4 times. So when I saw -220, I bet it. I bet 220. I bet 225. I bet -230, and I was getting good money down. And now I look up, and it is close to that -300. So I think the money line value is gone at -300. I would look to lay the 6 with the Eagles right now if that's the side you like. Otherwise, you got a better number now on San Francisco than you otherwise would have gotten. And if you like the San Francisco side, the good thing that I'm seeing for you is they're not waiting for a possible 7. Any 6.5 that's popped up, I've seen a group take it off. So I saw, was it Westgate? Westgate went to 6.5, or I forget who went. DraftKings might have went to 6.5. And it didn't last but a second. Like they were right there to take. Oh, Circa, forgive me. Circa went to 6.5 two times. And both times it was taken out. So obviously, there's sharp bettors that like San Francisco up over that 6. But like I said, for me personally, I'm on the Eagles. I gave a 4% to my subscribers at -220. I'm comfortable with that bet. At -6, I don't think there's too much EV. You'd have to think that the line should be above 7, and that's just getting too way ahead for me because San Francisco's had a really tough strength of schedule, top 10 pretty much in the NFL.
So many injuries too.
That's the problem with San Francisco. That's the problem because on paper they're solid. On paper they shouldn't be this big of a dog. When you have 2 quarterbacks that are top 5 in passing success rate, you shouldn't be this big of a dog even on the road. But it's the injuries And that's what the wise guys got.
Yeah, listen, the book was kind of wrong on the Rams being such a big favorite on the road. So maybe they're wrong. Maybe this game can be close, and it is.
Here's what I think. I don't think it's going to matter. I think the San Francisco comes into Philadelphia and wins the game outright, or Philadelphia wins by double digits. I don't think the teaser is going to help you, and I don't think the spread's going to come into play. If you like San Francisco, I highly recommend putting a little bit of your bet on the money line. You're getting upwards of 2-1 on your money. You got to sprinkle something. It's playoff football. And for the Eagles, I would wait because we're seeing at 6.5, it's getting bought off. So you may see someone come in and pick off that 6 too, and you may get, 5.5. So I would wait now on the Eagles because it's not getting the 7. It would have
this total also dropped, Gianni. The total dropped from 46.5 to 44.5.
Yeah. And that the sharps went under immediately, and which isn't a surprise. In the wild card round, under has been the money. Let me tell you something. Since 2001, let's go back 25 years now. If you've done nothing else but woke up on wild card weekend and bet every single under, you'd cash 6 out of 10 bets. You'd be in the 0.5% of NFL bettors on the planet that could hit at that kind of clip. And if this is the first meeting between the two, or is it the second? I believe it's like 76% to the under. So the wild card games have been big unders. And of course, what does the market do to us yesterday? It throws 2 overs out at us, which you should expect, because what do we know? That markets regress and progress towards the mean. And an efficient market, what's the definition? It's one that corrects itself. And that's why we should be looking at overs, because of that under trend in the wild card round. What do I talk about all the time? Go back and look at the last 5,000 NFL games. You're going to see close to 2,500 favorites, 2,500 dogs, 2,500 overs, 2,500 unders. That's how efficient the NFL market is. That whether you bet the underdog or the favorite, the over or the under, over 5,000 plus bets where we have a nice statistical significant sample size, you will not be profitable. That's how efficient this NFL market is. And it comes down to, that point, that every little point that matters. So that's where I stand with San Francisco and Philadelphia. And like I said, as far as the total goes, I'm looking to bet some overs this weekend. That's what I've been looking for. I was pissed I didn't pull the trigger yesterday because both went over. But I thought that coming in because there was just so much narrative about just bet wild card under and you'll make money. We those trends don't last very long.
The next game, tonight's game, it's the only one I'm very confused on because I like the Eagles today. I like the Jags today. This next one, I said, I really want to like the Chargers. I want to believe the Patriots are frauds with the easiest strength of schedule in NFL history. Yet the Bears still found a way last night, even though I thought they weren't going to, and I thought they were frauds. But Gianni, I really feel like the frauds, the Bears and the Patriots, we're going to go 1-1 this weekend. I said 1-1. So how much faith do you have in this Patriots team at home as a favorite against the Chargers?
Listen, your bet's easy on this one. You got to bet the Chargers.
Okay.
Or you're going to be mad at yourself.
Right.
Because you already called it. The first half of your puzzle's in. Now the second piece, that's all that's missing. You already said they're going 1-1. Well, you got the 1-0 in. Now you need the 0-1 side of it, right?
Okay, but they want to hear from you. Do you agree with me that the Bears and the Patriots are frauds because of scheduling, because of I'm confused on, I don't believe in the Patriots.
I don't, but also the thing you got to remember is you could only play who's in front of you. You know what I mean? It's like with MMA. Guys are 20-0, but they haven't had a tough strength of schedule. But if they're running through the competition, like you can't really fault them for that. Instead, what I do is I like to give credit for stronger strength of schedule, but not really punish someone for a weak strength of schedule. Because again, you can only play who's in front of you. And what New England's done with that weak strength of schedule is absolutely dominate. They've won 14 of 17 games, okay? They're 8-0 on the road. They're 5-1 in the division. They're 9-3 in the conference. They have a plus 170 point differential. which is what? The highest in the AFC and the second highest in all of the NFL. So it's not like they've had a weak strength of schedule and they're not impressive. They are impressive with what they've been able to do. And doing it with a balance, like their 10th offensive efficiency, 11th defensive efficiency, but it's that strength of schedule we can't get past. Well, guess what? San Diego, or Chargers, call them what you will, LA, they didn't have a tough strength of schedule either. Theirs is 27th. So they're only 4 slots behind New England when we're talking strength of schedule. And yes, New England's is the easiest, but the Chargers is the 4th easiest. So it's not like they had the number 1 strength of schedule. That's the problem. And this is someone who has the Chargers on a future. I need the Chargers. I have a future bet on them. So
we were both on the same page preseason that we love the Chargers. They probably would have been in the Denver Broncos spot if it wasn't for all their damn injuries.
Exactly. But with all of that said, I can't bet New England in this spot at above that 3. I just think power rated wise, it's not warranted. I think these teams are a lot closer than this number reflects. And I don't think New England has but less than a 2-point home field advantage. So I'm almost forced to be on the Chargers here. I haven't done it, like I said, because I have a future. But I do kind of lean that way. I think these teams are a lot closer. Well, I guess the spread reflects that because you're only looking at, a 3.5 point number. So again, it makes it look like with home field advantage, these are really close teams. And I think they are. This will get good balance. When I'm looking in the back end, that's what I wanted to see right now. And they're close to 50-50 on ticket count and money bet. And that's why we're not seeing any real significant line movement on that game. What they're going to, I think you're going to see a lot of New England money late, a lot of New England money line late. And I'm sitting back. If you could catch 4 on the Chargers, I think that's how you want to look at it. Mm-hmm. Or if you get 4 in this game, I wouldn't lay it. I would not feel comfortable laying New England -4. I'd feel comfortable taking the 4 with the Chargers based on the power ratings.
A lot of the chat was asking if you have any props for today's slate.
Oh, dude, I have more props than you could have. That's where the money is. When it gets to
I went 3-0 yesterday on props. It was great.
Yeah, I think I might have done the same thing. Yeah, I did. I went 3-0 in props too because I went 4-1 overall and I split on the sides. So that's where the money is in the props. That's where the betting syndicates are doing all the damage. Team totals, first halves. Like today, they bet Jacksonville in the first half. That's what they look at, little spots like that. But let me give you some props for you. Josh Hines Allen over half a sack. Josh Hines Allen over half a sack. That's plus money. That should be easily available still. What else do I have for you? Josh Allen over pass attempts. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
I bet that a few days ago.
Everyone's on that one. That was from over 30.5 and 31.5. They hit again, the 31.5. Mm-hmm. They're betting that up to 32, I think. Also, that New England's running back Stevenson over in longest rush, 9.5 and 10.5. So they went over 9.5 longest rush, over 10.5 longest rush. Who else did they have? James Cook receiving yards. Over 15.5, over 16.5. And Buffalo's wide receiver, Dalton Kincaid.
Tight end.
Longest reception, over 17.5 and over 18.5. Those were some of the bigger props.
His receiving yards got steamed too, Kincaid. Because that's when I get teams that have multiple tight ends, like the Bills with Knox and Kincaid. I know it's a good tight end game, just matchup wise, because that is the one position the Jaguars struggle against. But
so that's a good side. You like that side?
Yeah. I like Kincaid. I already bet Josh Allen over his pass attempts. I like the James Cook approach because he is crushing it on the road this year on the ground. He is averaging like 100 rushing yards a game. So the receiving yards is interesting. But yeah, the Kincaid one, it was just, okay, is it Kincaid? Is it Knox? I never know which tight end to bet the over on. Steam was on Kincaid over his longest reception and receiving yards. Knox went down. So it
looks like Kincaid's going to be getting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the tight end position is where the Jaguars struggle. They're really good against the run, so they're going to eliminate the run game which is why it makes sense that they should use James Cook out of the backfield more, because the run game's going to get stopped. The Jags are the best run D in football. So I like it.
I did see on Brandon Cooks, I saw longest reception over 12.5. I saw it.
Okay, I like it.
And a square bet on Saquon Barkley that I saw, the over in rushing attempts, they hit the over 18.5. And I
have his longest. I have over Saquon receiving yards.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw and the only Trevor Lawrence prop I saw was his rushing yards over. I was surprised. I saw a lot of overs.
I took his under passing yards, 239.5.
I like it.
You gave out a lot. I'm actually shocked. You gave out so many overs, and usually people say
that's why I didn't give subscribers. I've only given, I think, 2 props today as premiums because it threw me off. I've bet all these props, and I swear to you, I think 90% of them are on overs today. And that's a little worrisome to me.
Yeah.
But like I said, remember coming in, we were expecting more scoring, more overs than the narrative coming in with the wild card unders and low scoring and all that. Yeah. So maybe it has to do with higher scoring games, expecting better stats. Because I never see this. It's usually on game day, it's 95% unders. Under.
Yeah, especially when all the numbers get super inflated. But the lines, listen, they're getting better at the prop market these days at the sports books, and they've been pretty tight. And I mean, it is nice though to have a big board like this still. And
James Cook rushing yards under 80.5 and 81.5. There's an under for you.
Yeah, I like it. And real quick before we let you go, any college basketball?
Oh yeah, we always have college basketball. You ready?
Yeah.
I'll give you the premiums. I'm just going to give them for free. I gave 4 premiums to subscribers, 2 3%, 2 4%. You're getting them for free right now. I won't even put up a package. 826 under 151, 151.5 Richmond. 827 over 152.5 in Memphis. 849 over 131.5 Marist. That's a 4%. Over 132 North Texas. That's a 4%. So 3% under Richmond. 3% over Memphis, 4% over Marist, 4% over North Texas. And these I moved for another group, but I haven't confirmed any for my subscribers. Canisius plus 11.5, St. Joe's plus 8.5, Rice plus 2.5, Sacred Heart plus 6, and East Carolina plus 9. If you're not smashing that like button and commenting for Ariel, I'm going to have to take a pass next week, I think.
We love you, Gianni. And you guys, if you want more of Gianni, his Steam room is free today for WagerTalk insiders, his premium subscribers as well. It's $2.99 a month to join, wt.buzz/insiders. So this way you could check Gianni out. What is it, noon Eastern time again?
Oh, yeah.
Noon Eastern time. Go to the Steam room, catch more of the VR that you need. We all need VR every Sunday. Thank you so much, Gianni, and good luck tonight.
Good luck today, sweetheart. Good luck.
We were just talking props, and that was so much fun. Usually, Yanni doesn't get a lot of the props in until after this show. So the fact that we just had so many discussions about all those props today got me so excited. And to talk more props, we've got Andrew McInnis joining the show. Andrew McInnis, welcome to WagerTalk's Last Call.
Good to see you as always. 3-0 yesterday. Not too bad, Ariel. It was
a nice start
for me. 1-0 for me with props.
What'd you have yesterday?
One and done. And I had Parkinson, and he got the touchdown late in the game at his receiving yards. He had 1 catch to start the game for 15 yards. I had over 20.5. I knew it was going to be a big day for the tight ends. And then, of course, Higbee gets like 45 yards on 2 catches. So I thought I picked the wrong guy, and he gets the job done. So ready for a big day. Got my Tim Hortons
longest reception.
Check in as my Canadian here on the show. Got the Tim Hortons locked and loaded, so we're ready to go.
I like it. Okay, so let's talk props for game 1. We've got this game coming up in an hour and a half between the Bills and the Jaguars. What do you got?
I feel like Yanni right now. Like I just got like a list here to go over, and I'm sure that you're on the same page of a lot of things here. But one thing that we're dealing with is one team that is really good against the run and one team that's really good against the pass. So that's going to be a little bit different. But Bills are great against the pass. The Jags are great against the run. I'm looking at James Cook under on his rushing yards. We have seen it time and time again in these certain positions. When the Bills are going up against a team that is much better against one than the other, we're going to see a ton of throws from Josh Allen. So kind of like what Gianni said, I feel like the Josh Allen pass attempts is correlated over with the James Cook under on rushing yards. So I do like that. But I am looking at ETN over on his rushing yards. Again, this is a team in the Bills that's been unbelievable all year long against the pass. But against the run, I think it's going to be very, very crucial to win the battle of the trenches and for ETN to get going and establish the run. His number is 63.5. I will tell you, though, Ariel, there's some stat stuff that you look at, but there's also some stuff that you use the eye test to look at. And over the years, in any big games, whether it be a regular season game or a playoff game, I love looking at Josh Allen rushing yards. You know, a lot of people have been talking about how quarterback rushing yards. I heard Teddy Covers talking about it earlier in the week on shows. The quarterbacks, of course, in the postseason are willing to lay it on the line a lot more. Josh Allen is certainly that guy. I do think he'll go over his number as well. One thing that about this for Trevor Lawrence today, I was a little bit kind of hesitant to look towards his passing yards number because of how great the Bills are against the pass. So what I decided to do, and I know you like these kind of bets as well, was look at T-Law over 34.5 for his longest completion. That way you don't really have to worry about, taking the full passing yards, taking the pass completions. You're worrying about that one play. And he's gone over that number in 4 of his last 5 games. He has been slinging the ball. He looks comfortable out there. If he can get that pass protection, he's going to be really successful with that. 34.5, it's a big number, but I think it's definitely attainable for him. Touchdown scores, we got Kincaid plus 255. We've got Lawrence at plus 175. And I just think overall, this is one of those games, if you want to look for an under, I wouldn't talk anybody off looking at the Jacoby Myers under, just because there's so many different options that the Jags have. And based on the matchup and how good the Bills are against the pass, there's going to be the ball being really spread around. And if, he's at 48, 49.5, I think it could be a good under to look at as well. But what do you think about those? I really wanted to know what you thought about the longest completion one, because
I'm on Trevor Lawrence under passing yards.
Okay, so that's
okay.
good. I can still hit that. We can still hit that.
It's okay if you hit it. I took the under on his passing yards, and I have over on Josh Allen pass attempts. And I like your Travis Etienne play, just because the way I said, if I like the Jaguars can only win this game one way, and that's Travis Etienne running all over one of the worst run Ds in football, the Buffalo Bills, running clock, keeping the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And the Bills, they're not going to be able to get the run game going, so they're going to have to be one-dimensional, and James Cook's going to have to just kind of sit back and watch or be in the passing game, like VR said. So I agree with you in the sense that Travis Etienne has to get things going, because the Bills are really good against the pass, and they're really bad against the run. So as long as the Jaguars do everything we say, they should win the game. And guess what? I bet you they don't run Travis Etienne.
Like from a prop perspective, it's like when you and I are doing our prep for the props, it's kind of written there for us. Like one team's good against the pass, one team's good against the run. We just have to hope it goes that way for us. But I'll tell you what, I didn't think of this one, and I think that James Cook receiving is really good.
Yeah,
because
I think
if they're going to eliminate him from the rushing, he's certainly going to be involved in the passing game. I do like that one quite a bit. But Ariel, I
have to go to props.cash and see how
that longest completion one. That longest completion, it could still hit, and then you could win your under. That's why I decided to take that and not the full passing yards number.
Totally. Let's go to the next game. This one's really interesting between the Niners and the Eagles. What props are you playing here?
I don't have as much in that game, but there was one that I looked at here, and it was Jalen Hurts under on his rushing yards. I know I just talked about the fact that quarterbacks step up big time in the postseason. You know the mobility and the athleticism that Jalen Hurts has, but this is a defense that was the 4th best all season long against the run for quarterbacks. So I think that Jalen Hurts, obviously we know the great running back they have over there in Philadelphia. They don't need him necessarily to be running out, and we know the number is elevated because of how athletic he is and how willing he is to leave the pocket. So I am interested in him under 32.5 receiving, on the rushing. If I'm looking at receiving for him, if I do expect maybe we see a little bit more passing, Devontae Smith for me is the guy. I just feel like his steady usage in the second half of the season, it's definitely gotten elevated. The target share has been there for him. And what I like about him is that he can kind of turn nothing into something. And you kind of want those yards after catch with guys, especially in the playoffs, when sometimes they're keeping it a little bit simple. As far as the San Fran, I got to ask you, Ariel, how do you feel about the tight end position right now for San Fran coming into this one? Is this something that we can target, or is it kind of a weak position here for them?
George Kittle?
Yeah, like I was a little bit
matchup for Kittle.
I was a little bit hesitant to look at it, and I was really
Eagles
tempted.
are the second best, but really the Bills are the best this year against tight ends. The Eagles are second to the Bills. The Eagles have been great against tight ends for the last 3 years. There is no way I will. What?
Are we getting value, do you think, though? Like the books know that as well. Like
his number is 35.5, Kittle. I didn't bet it. It's hard for me to fade George Kittle in a playoff game, so I stayed away. I usually the trend about George Kittle, which we will not get unless they're in the Super Bowl. At home in prime time, George Kittle over longest reception has hit in like 10 of the last 12 home prime time games. So George Kittle at home in prime time over longest reception every freaking time. On the road, he's not as strong, and he's getting one of the best defenses in the NFL for the last 3 years against tight ends. It's a stay away spot for me on George Kittle today.
They just make it look easy. And you know, like, again, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes like you're so aware of these matchups and how a certain team does against a certain spot. But then there are some times where we look at a number and we look at a statistical, defense and how, okay, this team on the year is fourth best or third best. But then you look at that number and you're like, you know what? Even though they're going up against a good team against the run or a good team against tight ends, this number might be so low that I'm willing to jump on the over. And it's kind of like what Gianni was saying. Mm-hmm. If so many people are interested in betting on unders, then you might want to start hopping on some overs, which the funny thing is typically, of course, the sharp plays is to look towards the unders, especially with props on game day.
Yeah, I know. I'm very shocked at all the overs that he did give out, but I do love that he gave them out. We've got the late game, the Chargers and the Patriots. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, look, I mean, this is a really good example. I just heard you talking about it with Gianni, and everybody from where I live on the East Coast of Canada is a Patriots fan. So, like, I'm just surrounded by bandwagoners. I'm not a fan. I just got absolutely destroyed by what happened to the Packers last night because I chose the Packers as my team many years ago. But this team has been called overrated, easiest schedule. Everything's been thrown against them, right? When I look at this Patriots team, though, and you look at even just average quarterbacks that have gone against them, they've been able to do damage and put up numbers. So I think we can target some receivers. We can look at, I think, Justin Herbert completions. But what I'm going to do is probably focus in on the run game for the New England Patriots. I feel like this is going to be a smash mouth game. They want to keep it low scoring. They want to hold on to the ball. They want to have possession. They want to make this a very calculated game. I don't think they want to get into a shootout with this Chargers team. Look, I respect Drake May. I respect what he's done all year. I think that everybody should have earned it. He should have earned everyone's respect at this point. But they're probably still going to be a little bit careful, especially early on. Wouldn't talk anybody out of some unders on pass attempts for Drake May. He's awesome. He's done well. He's been able to find his guys and put up some big numbers. But it's different in the postseason. We see it all the time in every single sport. We might see them be a little bit careful. So the big question here is, you talked about it. We're talking about it backstage. Are the Patriots frauds? And we're going to be able to find that out and see what.
And listen, I don't always like to correlate unders on props to wins and losses. I say it all the time with strikeout props too. Just because I might be betting an under on a strikeout prop for a pitcher does not mean I think they get smashed. It just means that there's going to be more contact. Same goes for the Patriots. I'm on the under Drake May completions. It's 18 or 20 and a half. I think he's going to get around 15 to 18 in that range at most. It doesn't mean that I think the Patriots lose. Sorry, my dog's playing with her toy and hitting Marley. Stop it.
You're good. You're good.
But I do believe that Drake May is going to rely a bit more on the run game in this spot because that's where you're going to be able to expose the Chargers. They're great against the pass, the Chargers. So I wouldn't be looking to anything over Drake May today.
I love what you said there because it's so true. Like Andy and I, we do our show on Mondays and props and parlays. And, we're looking over things. And a lot of the times you create a script in your head based on how you think everything's going to go. Like certain things, kind of like what I was saying with, looking at, the pass attempts over for Josh Allen and the James Cook rushing under, like those two things could correlate, of course, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of look at that stuff. And like you said, it's not like you're thinking, okay, the Patriots are going to get just, it's going to be a really bad night for them, or it's going to be a really bad day for Drake May, or like you said, use that baseball pitcher reference. It just means that you think that they're going to go under that number with strikeouts, right? This guy could have a great day for the strikeouts. It's just you think he's going to go under that number. And that's kind of how I feel with Drake May. Like you could take the under on his attempts. They could still win the ball game. It was just a big rushing game. Maybe he has a couple big throws. Maybe he doesn't need that many throws to get down the field. Who knows? But I do think the unders are worthy of looking at it. And honestly, the rushing game has been very strong for the Patriots all year.
Yeah. And they've got 2 running backs that they could look to in this situation. And again, remember Ramondre Stevenson, one of the other plays from Gianni, over 9.5, 10.5 yards for his longest rush. Do you have anything for Monday Night Football?
I've got just 2 best bets, so I'm going to hold those for Monday Night Football. Just 2 best bets up at WagerTalk. We're actually number 2 at WagerTalk with player props. I believe cracking the top 10 for NFL action at WagerTalk all season across everything. It's been really, really great. I got 1 best bet, though, 1 big play up at WagerTalk for tonight's game in the New England and Chargers game. So don't miss out on that, guys. But I think the biggest thing, of course, for everybody at WagerTalk right now is that 7-day all access for $69. Why get my big play tonight when you can just get 7 days and get all of my plays? Those will include my 2 best bets for Monday Night Football as well. Anything I have on any games all day. And don't forget, Ariel, I always have plays on the ice in hockey as well. So that deal is just so fantastic. 7 days, all access for $69. 1 5% play is $35. This deal is 7 days for $69. I've been great with the props. You have to know what you know and know what you don't know. And I've pretty much been just sticking to the props. We're 1-0 to start the playoffs. Hopefully we can keep it going today.
Let's keep it going. Andrew McInnis, find him at McInnis Picks, and that's McInnis without a K. So MCINNIS, McInnis Picks on X. Thank you so much. And I'm going to have to get you on to talk props this week on Prop Queen Pod. So appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing what you and Andy have as well on Monday. So make sure to catch them there on their show here on Wager Talk. Good luck today, Andrew McInnis. Last, certainly not least, joined by a man who the last time I saw him, my heart still was there. And now my head coach is gone. My team is in Cancun. And Marco's team gets to play tomorrow. And I can't wait to bet against them. Screw the Steelers, Marco. Happy Sunday.
Ariel, you didn't have a chance. We had the priest, blessing the end zone for us, and that was the field goal.
I can't believe that it was like the end zone too. Like it wasn't as if the field goal was the other side. Like that was the end zone that he blessed, and that was the one that made Tyler Loop go wide right.
And we were almost right. I said, to make the game more interesting, they should fire the coach immediately that loses the game. Well, they waited 24 hours to do it, and they did it the next day. Tough game. I feel bad for you. And, it was one of those games that neither team does. You always say, neither team deserved to lose. I don't know that either team really deserved to win.
No, and it's bad when Steelers and Ravens fans, for the most part, are like apologetic to you.
Yeah.
Like we were all on the same page heading into that game. If we win, it's cool. We're probably not winning a Super Bowl, but if we lose, we get rid of a system that's clearly broken instead of embracing it for another year. So now you guys get the playoffs and you get to embrace Mike Tomlin and the same Steelers system for another year. Congratulations, Marco. You guys are going to stay the same next year, status quo. Let's get into today where we can make some money. We've got this first game on the slate. We're going with the Patriots and the sorry, I don't said Patriots. That's tonight. The Bills and the Jaguars going head to head, 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, coming up soon. Anything you like in this spot?
Yeah, I like Jacksonville in this one. I'll be honest. Every sharp that I talk to that I respect, we're all on the same side, and that usually scares the heck out of me.
Yeah, me
too.
But
it is what it is. I mean. Buffalo, when this line came out and Buffalo started out as the favorite, I said the wrong team's favorite to start with. This is one of those ones where Buffalo came out as the favorite for 2 reasons. It's public perception and Josh Allen. And because there is no Baltimore, there is no Kansas City, you got two of the, the big guns out of the playoffs this year that you don't have to, to deal with. People automatically saying if there was ever a year for Josh Allen to get to the Super Bowl, this is it. And I do agree with that in theory. What I do think is whoever does come out of this game, I think is the team that is going to make the run to the AFC Championship game, whether it be Buffalo or it be Jacksonville. Now, with that said, I think Jacksonville is the better team, clearly. And I thought they should have been favored to start with. And I know that if Vegas would have opened this at Jacksonville, every sharp player plus EV guy would have had every teaser imaginable running to the Buffalo side and get them over the touchdown. And they would have got one-sided. Well, they still got the money on Jacksonville that forced them to do that, even though there are going to be teaser liability on Buffalo today. They've got a lot of straight action on Jacksonville, and it's all sharp money, and I agree with it. They have a solid defense. When you think of Jacksonville, you don't think about their defense, okay? Because you always think about, Trevor Lawrence and, the flashy offense that they've had in the past. But this year, it's different. They're relying on that defense. And when you try to run the football against Jacksonville, it ain't happening. And that's going to put all of the pressure on Josh Allen to once again carry this team. And the problem with the Buffalo this year, defensively, you can run the football against them. And that is a problem. Whenever you can run the football, it accomplishes two things. You can wear a team down by keep pounding the football at them, and you shorten the game by doing that. And you keep the one way you can lose the game, Josh Allen having the ball in his hand, keep him off the field for long periods of time. So to me, and I'm going to say it with a couple of these games today, if you ask me about the total, I think you got to look at these games as correlated parlays. If you like Buffalo, you're going to expect more scoring. If you like Jacksonville, you're going to like less scoring, and you'd be looking to the under. So for me in the first one, it's Jacksonville and under. But the one thing I'm going to say about these totals, if you've been betting the totals here in the playoffs, what we saw yesterday, what we saw in the two college football games, it doesn't matter what the game is for three quarters. These teams, because they keep answering one another, whether the teams are just wore out in the fourth quarter, whatever it is, we're getting all this scoring in the fourth quarter. You never see that like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And same thing with the Steeler game last Sunday night. That game was 13-10 midway through the fourth quarter. It's stone cold under, and they soared over the total.
The line flipped. So you said that the Jacksonville Jaguars, you like them and the under. Would you still advise them because you like the Jaguars, which means you probably like them to win the game outright, -1.5? Or is that now a bad bet to you?
When you're dealing with the flip of the line from the 1.5 one way to the other way, it's basically the same game. And if Kelly was here, she would tell you games don't land on one. And or John Murray,
which is what she
John
did.
Murray would be saying, yeah, okay.
Yeah. John Murray says games don't land one, and whenever they land one, it's the greatest thing in my group chat. It's like a celebration goes off.
But you can lay it here. You're also, if depending on what you find the money line at, I saw some 122s out there on the 1.5. I don't have a problem with that either. If you want to go that way, just to to make sure. But yes, the ones don't come up as often as they do, especially I think more so in the playoffs, because during the regular season you can have that flip sometime of a team going for two more often versus than in the playoffs. And you can land with that odd number like that with the one. So I don't have a problem. If you want to lay 122 on the money line, if you can find that, yes, you can go that way, but I don't have a problem laying 1.5.
Another line that moved a lot, the Eagles, they went from -3 to -5.5, -6 in spots. Gianni was saying, have we lost any kind of value now on that game? Or do you think the value is now 49ers? Or you like where are you going on that one?
Well, I always joke about it, and I know Kelly's a big person with CLV. You want the closing line value, and I've always joked. You know what? I would rather have a bad number in a winning ticket than a good number in a losing ticket. All right. You got to look at what the line is and what it does to you. When the line was 4.5, and the 4 wasn't there a long time. You were mostly at 4.5, and then this thing kept creeping from there to 6. What did you lose? 5's a dead number most of the time. 5.5 doesn't mean anything either. Now 6, yes, you're getting into one of the numbers, but at 6, if it lands 6, did you lose the bet? No, you pushed it. So it's a situation where, is the bad number putting you on a push, or is the bad number putting you on a loss? Like if you're going from a 3 to a 3.5, that's a huge difference, because obviously you're now going to a 3.5 and lose by the half on a very viable number. So I don't have a problem with it going from 4.5. Now, when it very first opened, you actually saw a couple 3.5s out there, but that wasn't there for, like a second. So you had to be first to the window to get that. That would have been a different situation. The thing with Philadelphia is I just don't see how San Francisco, and I know they've done it all year, they've played well with all of the injuries, but what I didn't like about last week's game against Seattle, and it's the most misleading final score probably of one of the ones of all season. You look and saw a 10-point game and say, they were right there. And you know what? If they would have gotten that touchdown in the fourth quarter instead of the ball, bouncing off of McCaffrey's hands and getting the interception inside the 10-yard line, if they score there, it's a 3-point game and anything could have happened. But Seattle dominated them from start to finish. It was just some miscues by Seattle that kept San Francisco in that game, and Seattle ran the ball down their throat. Well, what's Philly going to do? They're going to do the same thing. And before that game, you heard some of the interviews, and Kyle Shanahan, I think, put a little bit too much of an emphasis on that game. He talked about how big that game was, how it was bigger for his team for the road to the Super Bowl because they needed to play at home. Going on the road, you've got a warm weather team going to Philadelphia in the middle of January. That's not a fun thing to do. And because it's going to be power football, it's harder, when you're a West Coast team or Miami, any of those teams, and you play in a physical game in your warm weather playing in the cold, the further you go in that game, every tackle starts hurting more because of that cold and the pounding you're going to get. I think this is a big game for Barkley. They know it, but can San Francisco stop the run? I haven't seen them do it yet.
No, and I'm going to take him out of the backfield. One of my receiving yards props today is actually the running back, Saquon Barkley, over his receiving yards. I think they utilize him, but maybe a little bit more uniquely and differently against a team struggling against pass-catching backs. Late game, Patriots, Chargers. Anything here?
Yeah, this is a game that, you look at it and it's the same narrative. I heard VR talk about it at the beginning, and we're all talking about it. I mean, it is the schedule. The difference is, and I will give the Patriots credit, when you talk about teams and, and I'm going to compare the two that everybody compared. You have New England that played a soft schedule, had a complete reversal from last year record-wise, going, I think, from 4-13 to 13-4. I mean, that's just remarkable, or 14-3. Remarkable turnaround. But you compare them to Chicago. Chicago had an easy schedule too. The difference between the two teams is, and it's why, I kept lining up, and full disclosure, I had Green Bay last night. We end up with a 3-2 day yesterday instead of a 4-1 monster day because the Packers collapsed in the fourth quarter against the Bears. But the Bears had a soft schedule, but had to keep coming from behind in so many games, and they had so many one-possession games, and that's why it was easy to line up against them. New England played a soft schedule, but they beat everybody they were supposed to, and they beat them soundly. That's the difference between those two teams. But granted, yes, they were soft teams. But if you look at some of the teams they played at the end of the season, beating Miami, who was a warm weather team coming to New England on the last week of the season with, everybody knew it, a lame duck coach. You had the Jets the week before, they played the Jets. Another team that was just mailing it in, a total disaster of a season. I think the Chargers throw out last week's game because they didn't play anybody. They didn't care. And the week before that was a tough game against Houston. They got behind early, but they never quit in that game, made it a 4-point game at the end after being down 14-0 the first 2 times Houston touched the ball. I am going to take Justin Herbert over Drake May. And I love the season that Drake May's had. But again, until you do it on the big stage, you got to prove it to me. And this is his first playoff game, obviously.
We're on the same page a lot today, Marco, unlike last week. I'm just kidding. But we did have a question from the chat. How much do you care about weather, especially for this Eagles game? Because they are predicting there's going to be like 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Well, what we say the game plan should be for Philadelphia? Hand the ball off to Barkley. I haven't seen wind knock over a running back yet.
That's because I haven't run. I haven't been running back. Yeah, and it's not great for field goals either. So I guess, does that also bode well then for unders?
And again, if you like Philly, you like the under. If you like San Francisco, you're going to think they're going to find ways to score. And I don't see it. And I know a lot of people want to point out, oh, it's the Brock Purdy revenge game. Remember, he got knocked out of the playoff game. Forget that. Stop that. Just stop with that nonsense, okay?
He got hurt.
They lost the game. Yeah, it was a bad spot. Lose your quarterback early. This team just has – I just don't see how they're able to get through this defensively when they're going to be pounded. And the one thing, I don't want to disagree with Andrew on the under on Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be a big part of this because, San Francisco knows what's coming. You're going to get some Barkley. There's no question about that. But some RPOs are going to be in that mix as well. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to pop off a couple big runs in this game because he will run the football in the playoffs.
He loves to run the ball at home as well. Marco D'Angelo, what are you promoting today?
Well, we talked about 3 games today. I'm going to tell you one of those 3 we talked about is a 5% play over at WagerTalk. And, I can't tell you which one it is. That would make my current paying customers very unhappy. So head on over to WagerTalk. You want to find out which one is the 5%. And all we've done with those plays, we did have Seattle last week as the 5% play. And they won handily, a 10-point misleading score, but 41-18 going back to February of 2024 with those plays. So if you want to get that play, it's $35 at WagerTalk. I would suggest one of 2 ways. Go for the extra $4 and get all of the plays today for $39, or take advantage of that 7-day package for $69 and get all of my plays in every sport for the next 7 days.
Marco, you're the best. Thank you so much. And I guess good luck to your Steelers tomorrow.
You're not going to root for them? All right, Ariel.
Thanks, Marco. Good luck.
Bye.
I've got the needs of the day. So thank you, everyone, for sticking along for them because John Murray is not participating in our show. So I'm going to read off the needs of the day that Kelly sent us from Art over at the Superbook. Bills. Jags, split tickets, 50-50, small need on the Jags. 49ers, Eagles, all Philly money. They definitely need San Francisco at the Superbook today. Chargers, Pats, good 2-way action, small need on the Chargers. Sharp college basketball plays. St. Joe's, plus 8.5. Niagara, plus 6.5. Wichita State, minus 6.5. Mount St. Mary's, plus 3.5. St. Peter's, over 129.5. Detroit, over 159.5. Memphis, over 151 are the sharp college basketball plays from Art over at the Superbook. Thank you for giving us those needs of the day. Props. I have 3 props that I bet. You can always see exactly what I bet on Pickett Sports at Ariel Epstein. Sign up for Pickett Sports using promo code PropQueen. If you want Pickett Pro, which is where you could get some of the best numbers in the market, you could definitely subscribe with promo code PropQueen and get 10% off. Trevor Lawrence, under 238.5 passing yards. He has gone under this number in all 4 games where he's faced a top 10 pass D. He's averaging 188.5 passing yards per game in those spots. Lawrence has been hitting overs recently, but if you look at who he faced Indianapolis, the Jets, and the Titans. The Bills allow the least passing yards per game to quarterbacks, which is why 82% of quarterbacks have gone under their passing yard prop when facing the Buffalo Bills. Gianni also gave out Josh Allen over his pass attempts. I do like that. We've seen it gone up too from 30.5 to 31.5. My prop for the Niners and Eagles game, Saquon Barkley over receiving yards. We've seen this one go up as well, 13.5 to 14.5. I like him 15 or over. I think he can even get 25 receiving yards. I have it at 29 receiving yards is what he averages against teams that are bottom 10 in receiving yards allowed to running backs. Saquon's averaging 19 receiving yards a game at home this year, 18 when he's home in the playoffs. The 49ers allow the 10th most receiving yards per game to running backs, with 68% of running backs go over their receiving yards prop. Lastly, Drake May under his completions, 20.5 is too high. I have him about 18. My whole family's calling me. It's like I'm on air. Under 20.5 completions. He's averaging 18.5 completions per game against teams that are top 10 against the pass. Chargers' third least completions per game allowed. 76% of quarterbacks have gone under their completions prop when facing the Chargers. Good luck today, everybody. Wildcard weekend. It's fun. I can't wait to sit on my couch and just enjoy the football games. We got the sharp sides of the day, the needs of the day, props of the day. Thank you to Gianni the Greek, VR, Andrew McInnis, and Marco D'Angelo for joining the show. If you missed anything, then you can go over to the WagerTalk YouTube page. You can always catch every episode of every show. Subscribe and like the WagerTalk YouTube page. If you do want more props, I have the Prop Queen guide on the propqueen.com newsletter. So you go to thepropqueen.com, you click newsletter. You could get the guide. If you subscribe, you get the cheat sheet for free. The guide is going to cost you if you don't pay for a premium subscription over at the Prop Queen. But if you subscribe to the propqueen.com newsletter, then you could get the cheat sheet for free, which is kind of giving you like all the defensive angles that I would be attacking. And it's a really easy and free way to help you guys just, get a little bit of action that it's like a little bit more helpful for learning my process for props. So if you want, we don't need bucks, or Maggie said. If you just want a little help with betting some props and you need a little bit of assistance on the research, go subscribe. It's free to the propqueen.com newsletter. And you could upgrade to premium if you want for more betting insights on props. Again, best of luck to all those who want luck. If you don't want my luck, then fine, don't take it. We will see you tomorrow on the Prop Queen Pod, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. But here on WagerTalk's Last Call, I will see you next Sunday. Good luck.